So,
Exactly 15 seconds will be on the air.
Larry. This is the Larry Lincoln Show.
What has happened to America? What has happened to democracy? What has happened to freedom?
Honestly provocative talk radio with Larry Lincoln.
This country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by a bunch of idiots.
Broadcasting across the United States of America and based in Los Santos.
You can laugh over my liberal tears.
That great moment every day where Larry brings you the cold, hard facts without any liberal wokenism, daily dead fish wrapper, or mainstream media bias.
University plaguing people's minds with indoctrination.
Now, here's your host, Larry Lincoln. Larry Lincoln listeners, welcome in. Another great week behind us, another great week ahead of us, and another great Friday with the Larry Lincoln Show. Hope y'all are doing well, and we got a good show for you here today. We got a lot going on in the city. We sure do. As much as we talked about it last week, there's always something new, always something going on with these liberal politicians, liberal judges, well, you name it. Liberals in the police force all over, always doing something, just trying to hold us all down and make it so we can't make a decent living in this day and age. And it's a damn shame, if you ask me. So before we get into too much in this show, we're going to start with a few voicemails we received over the week. Let's get through those now and see what all of you out there listening, calling in, wanted to leave for me here.
Hey there, Larry. My name is Jerry. Long-time listener, but a first-time caller. I'm calling about that commie bitch doctor you was talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try not to
Goodness
cuss.
me.
But that commie prick has been raising the cost of my insurance, my doctor bills, everything. I can't get my damn puff around because of that commie. And I'm so sick and tired of waddling around the Mega Mart to get my groceries. It's embarrassing, Larry. I can't do it no more. If I were to get my hands on her, I'd bring down the wrath of the big fucking guns of Jesus to whoop her friggin' ass. I'm sorry for cussing. I'm just heated. But I love the show, Larry. Is there any advice you could offer me?
Well, thank you so much for calling in there, Larry Lincoln listener. My goodness, I will say this to everyone listening. I don't condone violence to anybody, especially on the show like this. All we do is want to bring forth the truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God, and try to raise the blinds and put some light on all the lies that the corrupt left-wing liberal-run media, as well as these liberal politicians, do to us every day, trying to control us and make us live in their perfect little world, or so they think. So I will say thank you so much for calling in and letting us know and sharing with us that story there. And I can agree with you. It is a damn shame. And I've heard that from a few people, too, that they believe the leader of this hospital is a communist. Now, building on that, I tried to reach out to the hospital this week and actually talk to the underseer again. And I told her, it would be great to be able to talk to the one in charge and be able to hear from her what she thinks the hospital's doing, if she thinks it's doing a good job, and ask those same questions about why did they have Class 3 guns? Why do they not treat locals? And why, now that what I just learned today, you'll never believe this, listeners. I was going on Life Invader before the show, just taking a little look at what people are doing, and I saw a post from someone with the account named Summers, who posted this. Now, I'm going to post it on my account so you can take a little look there, listeners. But look at what I saw here, all right? Look at this right here. Now, before I post it, I'm going to type a little snippet with it, so give me just a second here. All right, it just went out there on Life Invader. As you can see in that post, if you're pulling it up, if you don't, see if you can find a friend who does have it, because this is something that I think all of you need to see. There's this person named Summers, that's his Life Invader name, Summers, who took a photo of him in a room inside the hospital after he set it off on fire. And in his post, he said, "We're hiring, come work with us." Now, what the hell kind of advertisement is that to work there, first of all? And what the hell kind of employee is setting their place of work on fire? I mean, look at all that. That's all medical equipment worth thousands of dollars. all on fire, and he's taking a selfie with it and not even trying to put it out. What are they doing over there at the hospital? What the hell are they doing other than charging everybody for ridiculous amount of insurance costs, not providing aid to local citizens, and running around with class 3s? Not anymore, I will say, but in the past, running around with class 3s that not even the common citizen like you and me could get. Now, I know we talked about it last week, but that's a goddamn infringement on the Second Amendment rights, and TACMED should be ashamed of themselves for even putting out something like this. I will say that too. Let's move on to the next voicemail.
Hey, Larry, Jacobs here. Big fan of yours. You know, I really appreciate, you know, your, one of them few folks that, you know, likes to stand up and, you know, speak the truth. You ain't scared to speak the truth. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate that. I really do, man. I really do. But, you know, let me get to the point here. I'm calling in today, you know. I want to talk to you about something that's really concerning me. It's on my mind a lot. And it's about this hospital here in Los Santos. I'm not too sure about it, Larry. Something fishy going on. Lady that's running it, I don't know about her. I'm just going to come out and say it, Larry. I think she's a communist, Larry. I really do. She's
That's
more
what I
concerned
heard.
with controlling everything and lining her own pockets than she is with them fucking doctors that are working so hard to, you know, serve us citizens of Los Santos. And she doesn't care two shits about those who really do need medical care. She just doesn't stand for the things that the United States of America stands for. Freedom. She doesn't want nobody to have freedom. None at all, Larry. It's just outrageous to me. So, Larry, I don't know what you got to do or what you can do, but I figured, you know, you're a pretty important guy. You got this your show. You know, you might be able to get this in the hands of someone important. You might be able to do a little investigating and get to the bottom of it. But, Larry, I'm certain there's something fishy going on there. I've never met someone who didn't want freedom more in my life than whoever's running that goddamn hospital. Communist, I swear. It's like I'm living in 1981.
Amen
I
to
don't
that.
understand. It's
Amen to
America.
that. Mhm.
Let it be free. The land of the free, Larry. Anyway, Larry, I appreciate all you do, and I sure hope this gets something done about this goddamn hospital. It's a fucking travesty. Anyway, Jacob's out.
Goodness me, I think producer, can we do a little bit of a filter on the language before we get these voicemails in here? My goodness gracious. I mean, we can't go live on the air with some of these words. Sorry for that there, you at home. But regardless, his message is true, and it does stay the same as what we heard in the first voicemail, what we all know to be true through our interactions with this hospital. It's being run, from what it seems like by all of you, a communist. Now, I can't confirm that for myself because they won't speak with me as we covered earlier, but I just don't understand how people who are supposed to care for the well-being of others can only be so greedy and so uncaring to people who have lived here all their lives, and it is just a travesty, as you said there, sir. And there's only so much I can do, Larry Lincoln listeners, only so much I can do to bring the truth out there to the radio waves, bring the truth out on social media, and tell everyone I could run into about this apocalyptic situation that the city is in. And I do say apocalyptic, and I don't take it lightly, because what this is trying to do, and listen to me here, there's this hospital, now there's two, I do know one just got opened up over there in Blaine County, but they're both being run by the same medical institution. So if you aren't getting your needs met somewhere, there's nowhere else for you to go. Nowhere else at all. It's all being government controlled, government run, and then pushed forward through liberal, corrupt propaganda. And it is a damn shame, and it is a damn travesty. Thank you so much for calling in there, sir. Let's move on to the next voicemail.
Hey, Larry, it's Gary again. I know it's been a while, but to be honest with you, it's because I got fucking locked up. You believe that, man? I got locked up. I got locked the fuck up. I mean, at first I got pulled over. They said, well, we're just going to do a simple little traffic stop. I said, I want to go on my way. But they said I was mouthing off, and then I got fucking locked up on trumped up charges, man. It's messed up. And then when I was inside, a bunch of my friends that I made a bunch of bald friends in there, Larry, and they were protecting me.
Oh, okay
Beautiful,
then.
you should
Okay.
meet 'em. But anyways, they told me that the hotel the hotel is considered a war zone and that they're not going to police out there because it's too dangerous. You're the police. Protect and serve. What the fuck is happening in this city, let alone this country, Larry? It's a goddamn travesty. And I want to hear what you got to say. Please, Larry, we need you more than ever once again.
Well, thank you so much for calling in there. We always appreciate everyone that calls in, whether it be live on air or leaving a voicemail. And I got to say, it is a travesty. I think we've said that a lot here at the start of the show, but let's be honest here. We look around at who provides medical care for this here city, and we see nothing but people running around with guns, providing care afterwards, and leaving innocent civilians on the ground dead, bloody, and they don't give a shit. I will say that. Sorry, producer, again, but sometimes those words need to be said. Now, building on that to the police, that's a whole nother problem in and of itself. This police force has been the most ridiculous I have ever come across in my life. And I have a story to say about that on the next one, but I just want to finish off this segment by saying the police do not care about the locals. TACMED and the hospital does not care about the locals. I will say in both of those places, there are a select few who do try to actually do a good job and try to be there for the people. But overall, and with the current leadership, it is a shit show. It's all of this liberal policies and liberal media saying, wow, they're doing so good. They're out there policing the state. They're out there making sure everyone's safe. But no, it's not at all what they're doing. What they're doing with the police, they're lining their pockets with citations, parking, speeding, whatever it may be. All the meanwhile, these criminals are going over all these crazy things. They're going into the hotel and driving cars around. I saw a post today. There's a boat in the middle of the street. And how the hell did that happen? And not only that, but now I go to the DOJ and I talk to them about this stuff. And what they tell me is this. They say, we are enforcing the law. Now, Larry Lincoln listeners, do we believe what they're saying? I, for one, think no. Because if they were enforcing the law, these people who are killing locals, driving around crazy. I mean, I saw a post the other day, not just a boat. I saw someone driving a gigantic construction vehicle running over people who were just driving on the road, living their lives, just trying to live that American dream while we're trapped in a liberal nightmare. So, Larry Lincoln listeners, I'll get to my story right after the commercial break. We'll see you very soon. Larry Lincoln listeners, listen up because I have something to tell you. Have you ever had your car destroyed in an intersection by a crazy, drug-induced liberal? Have you ever been on the side of the road wondering, what am I going to do? I don't know how to get help. Well, look no further, Larry Lincoln listeners. Harmony Repair is there for you. They're the official sponsor of the Larry Lincoln Show, and they'll be there for all your needs, and they'll be there way better, way more reliable than anything this liberal government will do for you. And why don't you tell them Larry sent you? Have you had a long day dealing with a bunch of liberals? Are you just trying to put your mind at ease with some actual sensical thinking? Get yourself over to the Yellow Jack. Good people, good food, good drinks, and never a dull moment. Yellow Jack Inn, where if it ain't yellow, it ain't worth jack. Have you ever dreamed of sailing on a boat, perusing the nice waters of this great earth made by God? Well, let me tell you something. The State Department of Boats has plenty of boats that you can buy. Your heart's desire, whatever it may be, whatever your dream is, just like the American dream, this place can make your dreams a reality. But let me tell you something. It's something that the liberals don't want you to have. They want you to fill out all these forms, go through all these checklists, just so you can get a boat. But let me tell you something. If you're able to do it, go through the liberal policies until they can be gone, you'll have yourself the finest piece of watercraft that I've ever seen. So get yourself down there to the State Boat Department, find out how to do it, and tell them Larry sent you. Larry Lincoln listeners, do I have something good to tell you? Godai Industries. Have you heard of them? Well, if you haven't, you should. Not only are they an official sponsor of the Larry Lincoln Show, they're a business offering a service unlike any other in this city. Godai Industries will take your hard work, whatever it may be. They'll buy it from you at competitive prices, and you'll be able to circumvent all those taxes that those liberals are trying to put on the effort that you do to make a living. Godai Industries. Be in your element.
When you're stuck, don't stress at all. Play county toe and ready for your draw. Santa Trader's best here to save the day. We lift you up, towing all the way. Play county towing, we'll pull you through. For all your towing needs, we're here for you.
Do you like comfort food? Do you like a coastal feel? Do you like both of those things together? Well, let me tell you, Tide and Table, located at the Del Perro Pier, is the place to be for comfort food and a coastal feel. They have a great selection, a great menu, good people working there, and I can tell you personally, the meatloaf is one of my favorites. Go to Tide and Table, where comfort meets coast. Larry Lincoln listeners, hope you're enjoying the show, and man, do I have something to tell you. Have you ever been really hungry and really thirsty, and you just got into the city wanting to pet some kitties? Well, do I have a place for you. Ooh Woo Cafe. They got good deals, good company, good food, and above all else, no liberals in sight. No liberals in sight, Larry Lincoln listeners. Get yourself on down to Ooh Woo Cafe, get yourself something to eat and drink, and tell them Larry sent you. Larry Lincoln listeners, you're in the city, you need a repair, liberals are harming your prized, most valuable car. Where are you gonna go? Well, you're gonna go to Los Santos Customs. Los Santos Customs, located right there in the city of Los Santos, will get you fixed up right. They got a good workforce of good old patriots just trying to hold down the last frontier of being a patriot in the big city. And when you get there, tell them Larry sent you. Larry Lincoln listeners, do I have something to share with you? Are you looking for a new car? Are you looking for good people, a good deal? And are you tired of trying to deal with all these liberals who want to sell you cars at overpriced markups with all these taxes and all this stuff where your money goes nowhere except for the no good, homeless, criminal, drug addicts who are ruining our town? Look no further than Apex Auto Sales, an official sponsor of the Larry Lincoln Show. And when you go, make sure to tell them Larry sent you.
Get ready, here comes the plan. Larry Lincoln's rocking this land. Truth seekers in full demand. San Andreas, take a stand. Turn it up, loud and clear. Larry's voice, over here. Rocking hard, spreading cheer. Truth's the sound, we don't care. Spreading trades here, which ignite. Larry's here, bringing truth the night. Across the hills, through the setting sun. Everyone is like a power of blood. Turn it up, let the truth be told. Larry's voice, solid and bold. In this land, freedom rings. San Andreas, hear the truth that sings.
Goodness me, it's like music to my ears. I mean, it is music, but it is like music to my ears every single time I hear all of those great things. Welcome back in, Larry Lincoln listeners, to the show moving on from where we just were, talking about how corrupt the police department, the hospital is, and how they don't care about anyone living in the state except if you can fill their pockets. I mean, let's be honest now. Actually, let me take it a step further. You can either fill their pockets or you can be a liberal. Now, that's the only two ways that they'll give a damn about you. That is the only two ways, which means now that there is a governor race going on, I'll be trying to find out who's the governor that's going to best serve our interests, and we'll make sure to bring them on the show, and they can inform you, Larry Lincoln listeners, about all the policies and how they're going to fix this liberal nightmare that we are trapped in. Oh my goodness gracious. Now, before we went to the outbreak, I was telling you that I had a story about the police, and my goodness, every time I deal with the people that work in this police force, I have never ever seen so much incompetence, lack of empathy, and liberal written on their face, even if it's not actually written, more so than I have with these police here in this city. So I was, as you probably all were, very curious about this new infrastructure. Oh, Larry Lincoln listeners, we just heard a gunshot. Are we okay out there? All right, I'm being told everything's okay. We're secure in the building. Anyways, I was going to explore Blaine County to see this new infrastructure where I guess some of our immense tax dollars are going, probably about only 5%, while the other 95% is either going to the pockets of the politicians, pockets of the DOJ, pockets of the command of the hospital or the police department, or free money to all these people coming into this city, free housing and free food down at the hotel, which has turned in, as that caller said, to an absolute war zone. Now, it is just damn shame what this city has come to. Okay, moving on. So I was driving up to Blaine County, going down Route 68, as we all have driven many times. Beautiful road. There's now so many new buildings there. I mean, I'm sure you've all maybe made the trip up there, maybe even lived there and saw the construction going on. And the only thing I can say is, my God, it looks like someone took the city and slapped it right in the middle of the damn countryside. I mean, who do they think they're actually going to draw to Blaine County? An actual place where patriots can try to get away from the lunacy of this big city. And now, it seems the city is trying to spread their reach of liberal influence with corrupt politicians and corrupt propaganda and their tax dollars and their inflation up to the place where good old American patriots are just trying to survive. So, I will tell you this. I was driving down Route 68. A new Blaine County Sheriff deputy drove by me, the new department that was established. He turned around, put his lights on, and pulled me over. Right away. So immediately I get out of my car and I say, hey, what the hell's going on? What are you pulling me over for? And he said, well, now you're detained. Get in your car. And I said, oh, okay then. So we're bringing some of that police work from the city where you don't give a damn about anybody to the county now. Okay, I'll get in my car. Go ahead and do your business. I show him my ID. He tells me I was speeding. And I say, well, what do you mean I was speeding? This is like an interstate. It's Route 68. And he says, well, no. Now that all this new infrastructure is here, the speed limit's been changed from 70 to 40. And I said, hold on a second. The speed limit went down by 30 miles per hour, and there was no signage, no nothing about this change. And he said, well, yeah, that's it. It's now 40 here. And I said, okay, well, all right. You want my license? Whatever. Go ahead. Here's my license. He said, okay, I'll be right back with you, sir. Goes back to his car. When he comes back, instead of a warning like I was expecting, being that this new traffic speed limit was just established a few days ago, he said, well, here's your $373 ticket for reckless speeding. I said, what the hell? I said, you're telling me someone who's trying to actually do something good with their life, not a criminal, no record, family man, church-going man, is getting a $373 ticket for a new traffic law that was not told to anybody? You're not going to educate the public. You're just going to come into Blaine County, of all places, establish a sheriff's department, which had cobwebs on it for the longest time, dust them off, bring in a bunch of liberal cops. I mean, this guy had red pigtails that went down to his lower back, red and black pigtails. I mean, what kind of professionalism standards are there with the Blaine County Sheriff's Office? This guy looks like he just got out of a rave. And I would know, because my son likes to go to those, God bless his soul. But I just couldn't believe it. I said, okay, so you're not going to give anybody a warning on this road? You're just going to ticket everybody? And you're not going to care at all about the people who live here? We don't have this kind of craziness going on in the county. We're all just trying to live our life. We don't mean no trouble. And he said, well, that's the law. That's what he said, Larry Lincoln listeners. He didn't give a damn. He didn't care nothing about people actually just trying to live their life. He didn't care nothing how the speed limit just changed over 30 miles per hour a few days ago. He didn't think any of that mattered. All he cared about was that his radar said I was going this speed and the speed limit was this. Here's your ticket. Didn't give a damn. No empathy, no professionalism. But I will say Hightower, he was a good man. But this Deputy Rain, absolutely needs to go back to the academy. And we need someone to run the academy who actually knows what the hell they're doing. I will say that too. Goodness gracious. So, building on that, Larry Lincoln listeners, today's post on the Larry Lincoln Show Life Invader account, I put out a post to you all before we got live on the air about some ridiculousness I saw. And I don't know how many of you got a chance to look, but I'll go back down to it and tell you a little bit about what I saw the other day. So now that there's these two departments here in the city for police, I noticed something absolutely insane. I was driving through the city, and I saw a state trooper police vehicle and a Blaine County Sheriff police vehicle. Now, the state trooper police vehicle was pulled over. The Blaine County one was behind them with the lights on, and the deputy was standing next to the passenger's window. And so I stopped my vehicle and I asked politely, "Hey, are you pulling that other police officer over?" You know what they said to me, listeners? Here's what they said. They said, "Mind your business. Keep moving. You're creating a hazard. Mind your business. Get out of here. Keep driving." More corruption, more deterrent, I guess, from us trying to find the truth, and more shadows. It's like smokes and mirrors, Larry Lincoln listeners. It's like smokes and mirrors. Now, I don't know what the hell is going on here, but to me, it looked like a county deputy was pulling over a trooper. Now, I honestly don't know why, and I honestly don't understand why, but for me, is this a positive thing or a negative thing? That's what I put out to you listeners, and I didn't see nobody reply too much, but I will say this, from my point of view, I'm hoping that this is a positive thing. If they're going to start policing each other and letting the actual citizens of this great city actually try to do something with their lives and be able to go around normally without having to fear getting pulled over with a new speed limit like I did, then that would be a welcome change. I mean, hell, maybe even these two commands going heads at each other will actually bring some actual SOP changes and maybe points of interest changes and maybe focus changes. I mean, come on. Let's focus more on the criminals. Let's focus more on investigating the people at the hotel who are driving vehicles through, killing people, murdering people even, rather than the actual hardworking people of this city just trying to make a living. Just trying to make a living. Now, this is segueing into another topic that I found interesting, and I was talking with some of you earlier this week when I met you in person. Hope you're listening in. You know, when I moved here, and I'm sure all of you know this too unless you've lived here your whole life, they don't allow you to access your bank account. They don't allow you to pull from any money you've made in your life. They don't allow you to bring any cars that you've driven at all. When you get to this city, it's like its own country entirely. It's like its own bubble. When you come here, they give you $500 taken from all the hardworking businesses, and they don't allow you to have anything. You can't bring your money, like I said. You can't bring your cars. You can't even bring a new change of clothes. You got to get new clothes here once you get here. I don't know what it is, but this is what I've been telling you every week, Larry Lincoln listeners. They're trying to control us. They really are. They're trying to take whatever freedoms you have in this life, and they're trying to put it under their little palm so they can do whatever they want. You can only buy cars they let you. You can only earn money that you earn here because they can tax it. And they only give you free housing at the hotel where they don't give a damn about you. It is an absolute travesty that this country's even allowing a city like this to run. It is an absolute travesty, and I know we've said that a lot, but it sure is. And don't even get me started on that liberal University of San Andreas, with their indoctrinating education that doesn't do anything for people's skills. All it does is tell you to be a good little rule follower and do what the government tells you. I don't understand it at all, listeners. I don't understand it at all. And I will say, those of you listening in, remember, the number is 555-9451 if you want to call in. Remember, 555-9451 if you want to call in. Larry Lincoln listeners, we're going to be going into the next ad break. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll see you soon, Larry Lincoln listeners. God bless you, and thanks for tuning in to the Larry Lincoln Show. Larry Lincoln listeners, listen up because I have something to tell you. Have you ever had your car destroyed in an intersection by a crazy, drug-induced liberal? Have you ever been on the side of the road wondering, what am I going to do? I don't know how to get help. Well, look no further, Larry Lincoln listeners. Harmony Repair is there for you. They're the official sponsor of the Larry Lincoln Show, and they'll be there for all your needs, and they'll be there way better, way more reliable than anything this liberal government will do for you. And why don't you tell them Larry sent you? Have you had a long day dealing with a bunch of liberals? Are you just trying to put your mind at ease with some actual sensical thinking? Get yourself over to the Yellow Jack. Good people, good food, good drinks, and never a dull moment. Yellow Jack Inn, where if it ain't yellow, it ain't worth jack. Have you ever dreamed of sailing on a boat, perusing the nice waters of this great earth made by God? Well, let me tell you something. The State Department of Boats has plenty of boats that you can buy. Your heart's desire, whatever it may be, whatever your dream is, just like the American dream, this place can make your dreams a reality. But let me tell you something. It's something that the liberals don't want you to have. They want you to fill out all these forms, go through all these checklists, just so you can get a boat. But let me tell you something. If you're able to do it, go through the liberal policies until they can be gone, you'll have yourself the finest piece of watercraft that I've ever seen. So get yourself down there to the State Boat Department, find out how to do it, and tell them Larry sent you. Larry Lincoln listeners, do I have something good to tell you? Go Die Industries. Have you heard of them? Well, if you haven't, you should. Not only are they an official sponsor of the Larry Lincoln Show, they're a business offering a service unlike any other in this city. Go Die Industries will take your hard work, whatever it may be. They'll buy it from you at competitive prices, and you'll be able to circumvent all those taxes that those liberals are trying to put on the effort that you do to make a living. Go Die Industries. Be in your element.
When you're stuck, don't stress at all. Play County Towing, ready for your tow. San Andreas best here to save the day. We lift you up, towing all the way. Play County Towing, we'll pull you through. For all your towing needs, we're here for you.
Do you like comfort food? Do you like a coastal feel? Do you like both of those things together? Well, let me tell you, Tide and Table, located at the Del Perro Pier, is the place to be for comfort food and a coastal feel. They have a great selection, a great menu, good people working there, and I can tell you personally, the meatloaf is one of my favorites. Go to Tide and Table, where comfort meets coast. Larry Lincoln listeners, hope you're enjoying the show, and man, do I have something to tell you. Have you ever been really hungry and really thirsty, and you just got into the city wanting to pet some kitties? Well, do I have a place for you. Ooh Woo Cafe. They got good deals, good company, good food, and above all else, no liberals in sight. No liberals in sight, Larry Lincoln listeners. Get yourself on down to Ooh Woo Cafe, get yourself something to eat and drink, and tell them Larry sent you. Larry Lincoln listeners, you're in the city, you need a repair, liberals are harming your prized, most valuable car. Where are you gonna go? Well, you're gonna go to Los Santos Customs. Los Santos Customs, located right there in the city of Los Santos, will get you fixed up right. They got a good workforce of good old patriots just trying to hold down the last frontier of being a patriot in the big city. And when you get there, tell them Larry sent you. Larry Lincoln listeners, do I have something to share with you? Are you looking for a new car? Are you looking for good people, a good deal? And are you tired of trying to deal with all these Liberals who want to sell you cars at overpriced markups with all these taxes and all this stuff where your money goes nowhere except for the no good, homeless, criminal, drug addicts who are ruining our town. Look no further than Apex Auto Sales, an official sponsor of the Larry Lincoln Show. And when you go, make sure to tell them Larry sent you.
Quiet, please. Ladies and gentlemen, you ready for the big show? In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
Larry. This is the Larry Lincoln Show.
What has happened to America? What has happened to democracy? What has happened to freedom?
Honestly provocative talk radio with Larry Lincoln.
This country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by a bunch of idiots.
Broadcasting across the United States of America and based in Los Santos.
You can laugh over my liberal tears.
That great moment every day where Larry brings you the cold, hard facts without any liberal wokenism, daily dead fish wrapper, or mainstream media bias.
University plaguing people's minds with indoctrination.
Now, here's your host, Larry Lincoln. Larry Lincoln listeners, welcome back in. I hope you've been enjoying the show, and thank you so much for tuning in as always. The Larry Lincoln Show is always here to bring in the truth and nothing but the truth, while the corrupt left-wing liberal-run media tries to keep everyone like a sheep in a room with only walls, no windows, and a teeny slit in the door where they can feed you the lies and say, good sheep, keep eating, don't worry about it, I'll take care of you. And let me tell you, they're not taking care of you. You're just being controlled. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Larry Lincoln listeners, welcome back in. Moving on to the next topic, I just have a little personal story I'd like to get out of the way here, and moving on to the next one. So I haven't talked to the owner or anybody really in a manager position at this place, but it's called Dragon Records. So if you've heard of Dragon Records or if you've been there, from what I've seen on social media, it seems like a pretty nice place. It seems like a really enjoyable place to be, honestly. I wouldn't mind visiting myself sometime, which I did. So I went on down to Dragon Records, and I thought to myself, well, this seems very nice. It's a very well-done place. It's a lounge with music as well, if you haven't been there or heard of it before. So I went inside, and I talked to the lady behind the counter. I forgot to catch her name, but, you know, I was talking to her about all the things that make the show great and all the things that make this city absolutely terrible. The liberal policies, the taxes and all the business, the free money given to everyone that comes in here, and the control where you can't bring in your clothes, bank account, or cars from anywhere else. You can only give and live with what they have given you here. And she said, well, you know, I actually agree with that. And I said, whoa. I said, oh, Larry Lincoln listeners, I couldn't believe what I heard. I said, you're telling me you think that all these businesses and people just trying to make a living, give something back to the community, should be taxed 30% just so we can give free money to new people moving here? And she said, well, yeah, I think that's great. And I said, oh, my good Lord. Listeners, I'll tell you this. I said, it looks like we have a liberal. And that is where it went off the rails. It went off the rails indeed. The train was going full steam ahead. That was an unexpected turn, and now it's tumbling over. She looked at me and she said, well, that's offensive. And I said, well, oh, okay. What's offensive? Saying liberal? And she said, well, yeah, that's offensive. And I said, well, okay, there's no freedom of speech inside Dragon Records? Is that what I'm hearing? And she said, well, no, it's just offensive to say. You should be careful. And I said, hold on a minute now. And now you can't say liberal inside this establishment, but now you're trying to threaten me? Is that what you're saying? She said, no, I'm not threatening you. I'm just saying you could hurt people's feelings by calling them a liberal. And I said, oh, I get it. I said, liberal tears are my absolute favorite. Larry Lincoln listeners, you should have seen the look on her face. She had a coworker there with her too who said, yeah, be careful. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I thought the hotel was a liberal hive mind. Now, again, I haven't met the owner, haven't met the manager, but those two employees who were there, we were the only three in there at the time, they are purely and utterly indoctrinated by the corrupt left-wing liberal-run media. As we were saying when we came back from the ad break, they are the sheep. My God, they are the sheep eaten from the palm of that media. Politicians say do this. Politicians say jump high. These two said, well, how high do I need to jump? Good God. Good God, God bless them. I hope they find help. Good God, good Lord, please bless their souls. Amen. Good God. So moving on, Larry Lincoln listeners, I went to City Hall earlier this week just to follow up. We were talking last week about there's like that symbol underneath the bridge on the backside of City Hall made out of bones, and then that thing written on the wall that says Orphan Bridge. So when I went back over there earlier this week, I saw that now there's a desk, 2 chairs, an office chair, and on either side there's about 8 cages. 8 cages on either side. And so it's like a whole office area with cages. I don't know what's supposed to be in the cages. There was nothing there when I was there. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. A symbol, which to me looked satanic. 2 chairs, a table, like an office table, an office chair, and cages have now made their way to this space on city-owned property, albeit, which comes from maintaining, or is maintained from our tax dollars that we pay, by the way, if you didn't know. But I'm sure you did. So, being the reporter I am, journalist I was way back in the day, I went into the open court session, and I asked the justices this question, too. I walked right up, and they said, does anybody have anything? And I said, well, I just had a quick question. That's all right. So they said, sure, come on up. So I asked the question, why is there a desk and chairs and maybe a satanic symbol and animal cages underneath the bridge on city property? Is that allowed? And here's what they said, listeners. You won't believe this. They said, well, yeah, we told that person they're allowed. And I'm like, okay, and it's a lawyer, right? And they said, it sure is. And I said, okay. So if I come to City Hall and I say, hey, can I have permission to build on city property? That's just something you can say and do, and there's nothing to it. And they said, well, they got permission, so they're allowed to. Now, Larry Lincoln listeners, I don't know if we all remember kindergarten, but I remember kindergarten playing in the sand pit. And if I wanted somebody to build a sandcastle next to my sandcastle and said, okay, that's how it worked. You would just say, okay, yeah, sure, you can build a sandcastle over here. But when it comes to government property that's paid for by all of us here living in the city, they can just give permission to anyone without any checks or balances or looking into anything at all. Now, I don't know what you all think of that, but I think that's absolute bullshit. I mean, what the hell's going on? What are we going to do? Have little vendors set up on city property now, too? I don't understand at all what is happening with the DOJ in this city. Now, like we said earlier, they said they're trying to take care of the criminals, but what really are they doing? Are they just giving favors away to friends and using tax dollars to maybe line their pockets? Who knows? Who knows, honestly? Who knows? But if any people working for that are listening, I sure would love to ask those questions and figure out why, because the image it is given off is a very, very corrupt one. A very, very corrupt image. Now, Larry Lincoln listeners, building on that and the liberal mentality, I saw a news story coming out this week. It's not a local news story, but more of a national news story. So I saw that the White House staffers, now listen to this, they believe that they are overworked, underpaid, and are coming together to request a 32-hour work week. Now give me a break. What the hell kind of thing is that? I work above and beyond a regular 40-hour week, as do many of you, just to make a living, just to get by, and just to try to make something out of my life. Now, pause on that story, listeners. We are getting a call from someone listening in. Let's take it now and see what they have to say. Hello there. Welcome to the Larry Lincoln Show.
Hey, Larry, I just wanted to get your opinions on something, man.
Oh, for sure.
Hey, so I was in the hospital, man, and there's this doctor. She straight up started threatening me and my wife, and I pulled out my machete, and I gave her some of that good old American freedom, you know?
Holy hell.
Slashes to the chest.
Uh-huh.
And they fucking put me up for attempted murder for defending my wife.
So what was this doctor person trying to do to your wife?
Oh, they were threatening her with violence and death and all sorts.
Goodness gracious, that's a damn shame. So someone who works in the medical field was threatening your wife, and I just can't believe that. I mean, did you see my post earlier where now they're lighting things on fire inside of the hospital too?
Oh yeah.
Where does it end? And where does it end? So you're going to be threatened. You're going to say that they're going to say that they're going to kill your wife, or who knows, whatever they said. And now they're going to charge you with attempted murder just for trying to protect your wife's life, Now, I don't know about you, but from what we've been talking about on the show, what I've seen in this country, that is a damn shame and a poor, poor reflection on the state of how this once great city is now being run. That's a damn shame.
Yeah, you know, they gave me a $4,000 fine as well. Like, I'm a retired man. I don't have that kind of money.
Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Well, hopefully you can get a good lawyer and you can try to contest that, huh?
I'm gonna work on it.
All right, then. And anything else for the listeners, sir?
Everybody enjoy the show, and God bless America. Let's
God
return to
bless
its former
America.
glory.
Hopefully that's the goal with the Larry Lincoln Show going on here every week, every Friday, is to expose the corrupt left-wing liberal-run media lies, and we can get this country back to what it once was. Thank you so much for calling in. God bless you, all right?
God bless you, Larry.
Take
Have
care.
A good day.
You too. Oh, what a great patriot calling in. What a great patriot, and what a tragic story. An absolutely tragic story. You go to the hospital looking for medical care. You go to the hospital in probably some of the most dire times you may have in your life. And to have that happen, it's just a shame. It is just a shame. We're getting another call. Let's see who's calling in. This is Larry Lincoln. You're on the Larry Lincoln Show.
Hello there. So I just heard you talking to dude about, well, getting a lawyer and such things. And I was just thinking, considering, what do you think of the lawyers actually threatening people and laughing at them for their crimes rather than actually saying, hey, I can help you? They always go about saying, well, you should get a lawyer. You should always get a lawyer. But every single case that I've heard, the lawyers always lose. In any civil case, in any criminal case. And it's just kind of weird how the lawyers don't really seem to do their work or understand the law.
I think you're preaching to the choir, honestly. Not only myself, but everybody listening in. There is so much corruption going on, not only with the DOJ, but the police and the hospital. It's just this government overreach and government control not allowing people to do anything, honestly. I mean, we do have these lawyers who I hope some of them can help. I've met a couple good ones. I haven't had them represent me. I haven't been to their courses, so I can only speak on our interactions, which were positive. But I will say this. I did go to one court case, and I saw that the prosecution had some guy who was wearing cargo shorts and tennis shoes and a bulletproof vest that was prosecuting the defense party, and the justices didn't say a thing. The judge presiding over the case didn't say a thing. If anything, during my time there, I saw the judge playing a lot of favoritism to the prosecution's side. Is that something you've seen too?
Well, definitely, considering everything I've seen is I've had friends being, well, sure, they might have broken the law and driving a little bit too fast, but there is cops that don't value life. So they just run in front of someone going like 130 and just dead stop, make them fly out of the car, and they're like, it's your own fault, and that never happened. And lawyers used to say that, well, they are just gonna lie, so it's no bother. We will not help you, because, we are just not gonna win.
That is a damn shame that this is the state of what this city has come to. Have you lived here a long time?
A few months, yeah.
Few months. Oof. It is a shame, especially to those that I've met who have lived here their whole lives. They have seen this city go from a hustle and bustle and upcoming great city, making great strides in technology, industry, and great infrastructure too. It's a beautiful city, but over the last, I'd say 20 years or so, Los Santos has taken this steady but rapid decline. All these great freedoms everyone once had, gone. Being able to access your bank account from outside of this city, restricted. Being able to bring cars from outside of this city, restricted. Being able to even bring in clothing. You can't even bring luggage into this city. They only let you wear the outfit on your back, and you have to get everything else from something that they've allowed you to have in the city. It's a slow government overtake of a democracy. I can't even put it any plainer than that. I hope, God forbid, I hope, that when this governor election's done, whoever we represent can actually do something to expose who's actually making decisions, not allowing people who live here to actually live a good life. Right now, we're all stuck in the liberal nightmare is what I call it. And golly, I hope we can wake up soon and return to the American dream.
Yeah, it's a terrible place right now, considering pretty much any job that isn't requiring a whatever hiring process like salvagers and scavengers.
Uh-huh.
It's apparently just illegal now to have any of those jobs and be a freelancer and do whatever you want to do, like earning money, going into the public salvage yard up in Sandy. Apparently, that's not really public according to the police.
What did they say it was?
No, they're just arresting people for trespassing.
Trespassing on public property?
That's what they do. It's just
Wow.
considering there's apparently some signs that says trespassing, but it doesn't really state that, well, this public salvage yard, that's what they mean. Like, I've never seen a fucking sign when I've gone there. There's not a single sign. There's people
They're just
asking
making
you
things
to
up.
go there, and yeah, it's just arresting people, and no DOJ wants to help them with that either. So, I mean,
Well,
no one's really doing their job.
It's honestly just so hard to hear these things because I've grown up in many places. I've been in a lot of places. My parents traveled a lot when I was growing up, and I've seen the American justice system work well. I've seen police do an absolutely fantastic job. But in my life, I have never seen both those entities together do something so horrible for the people. I just by some hope of God, I pray for it every day, that something can be done to actually let people live their lives in this town again. Speaking to what you just said, I just was talking about earlier in the show, I got a reckless speeding citation on Route 68, which I thought was a highway. I mean, the signs say that too. And no, the police now, the deputies that patrol up there, they told me, actually, Larry, it's not 70 anymore. Now it's 40. And they didn't even give me a warning, no nothing, no signage. But here's your $373 ticket for a rule and a law that's not even talked about.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. Not knowing laws, making up laws, and
Sure is. It sure is.
it's very rough at this point, considering I'm a foreigner and I know the laws better than the lawmen, which is ridiculous.
It sure is. And the great thing about the Larry Lincoln Show and everybody listening in and you calling in is we're all going through the same liberal nightmare, dealing with all the same struggles, being overtaxed, over-policed, controlled to the point where we have to completely rely on the ability of the government to give us everything we need. And you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the horrible places where a country is run like that. Now, let me not bring up communism too much, but God forbid, I hope our government can actually get back to working the way America's supposed to, the way the founding fathers intended, so we can actually have the freedoms that all these great people before us fought for. Thank you so much for calling in, sir, and God bless you. Thank you for tuning in for the show.
And you too. You have a good one.
You take care now.
You too.
Man, great to hear from someone calling in. A true patriot just trying to make a living, but being stifled by the liberal-run government at every turn. It is a shame, a travesty. I know we've said those a lot, but by God, it is true. It sure is. Moving on. We were talking about the White House. Now, there's these staffers there who say that they're overworked, underpaid, and now they want to have a 32-hour work week. Can you believe that? Even that great patriot who called in, I'm sure he's working way more than 40 hours a week just to try to make a living. Way more than 40 hours a week, as I'm sure all of you are. You're trying to put in these long hours to provide for yourself, family if you have it. Good God. Liberals outside exploding stuff again. Good Lord. Never a dull moment in this city. But regardless, it's crazy to me. These White House staffers already have one of the most luxurious positions you can get working for the federal government, getting all those federal government benefits. And now they want to complain about working a little bit more than 40 hours a week. Good God, talk about privilege and talk about the liberal mentality. I mean, what do they want next? 10-hour work weeks with only remote work? I mean, where is this country going? I think, for one, we should all go back to in-person work, a full-time 40 hours a week, and maybe we can actually be a competition with all these other countries that are trying to be government controlled. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you have seen it. These other countries just want to control their population and use them as their own workforce. Holy shit. We all right over there? Or gunshots outside the station. Hey, are we doing okay? Are we secure? Can you check the doors? All right, yep. All right, we're fine. We're fine, listeners. No worries at all. But again, the message is simple. Remote work, less hours than 40. It's all for liberals. It's all for more control, and it's all to keep you locked up in their homes so they can do whatever they want to the great country that you live in. We got another caller. Let's see who it is. This is Larry Lincoln. Welcome into the Larry Lincoln Show.
Hello, I've got a question for you.
Oh, please, go ahead.
I am concerned about the price of exports coming into this country. It feels that everything's going up, the taxation going up, everything. What can we do? As proud Americans.
The only thing we can really do is work really hard and research a lot on who we're going to be electing for governor of this great city. Now, if you've been listening the whole time, we have our bank accounts cut off from us. We can't even access money from outside the city. We can't bring in our cars from outside the city. Hell, sometimes it's hard to reach my wife back in Liberty because of the way that they allow us to call and run these phone lines in this city. So my hope is, and my advice to you, is I'm going to do some research too, and I think you should too, as well as all the listeners. Look for who's running for governor. Look for someone who's actually going to get the job done to give us what we need back. And we need to make our voices heard every day. Use that First Amendment to every incident we can find as the Founding Fathers intended.
Preach it, brother. Preach it. Who are you backing this election, Larry?
Well, I don't know who's running for governor yet. Do you know?
No, not a clue.
Yeah, I've only ran into two people. One of them was a homeless guy who said he wanted a universal basic income, so he's off my list, I'll tell you that. He is off my list.
Definitely.
Good God. But yeah, I'll definitely make sure to bring all of those facts of who's running, maybe even have someone I agree with if they have the time to come on the show, talk to all of you great Larry Lincoln listeners, and we can band together for a positive change for the city. I'll make sure of that.
Oh, yes. Larry, you've gained yourself a new follower. Let me figure out how to get onto your talk show here. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you.
For sure. Yeah, feel free to text in, too, if you ever want to talk anything else. And thanks so much for calling. Really appreciate it.
All right. Let's make this lovely state amazing again.
Yes, amen to that. Amen. Take care.
You too.
Oh, what a great caller. Really appreciate you calling in. Larry Lincoln listeners, always a good time to hear from you. Oh, another caller is calling in. Let's see. This is Larry Lincoln, the Larry Lincoln Show.
Hi, Larry Lincoln. You've got John. First-time listener, but I'm becoming a big fan real quick.
Oh, well, thank you so much for calling in, John. What can I do for you?
Well, I wanted to respond to something a previous caller said, I think two ago, about the scrapyard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, there's big signs on it that say no trespassing, like right out front as you go in, right? It's a private business. And I just say that as somebody who's been involved in the scrap business for a long time. I think this guy's looking for a free handout from an entrepreneur, and I don't like that.
Oh, wow. Well, unbeknownst to me, I don't know too much about the who owns what, but thank you so much for educating us here on the show. And private businesses always have that right to trespass who they like from their property. So amen to that.
Now, I steal from that scrapyard all the time, but I know I'm stealing. Well, yeah, of course. But when the cops roll up, you just shout, cheese it, the fuzz, and you get out of there. You know what I mean? That's part of the risk you take when you steal.
You know, I never would condone criminal behavior. Are you down on hard times or something?
Yeah, I was a social media manager, but I lost my job to AI.
Well, I mean, that is something that I think is going to take over the industry in droves here in the near future. Not only to mention robots, too. I mean, what's going to happen to everyone working in our warehouses?
They're going to get turned into robots, probably. Yeah, that's why I won't get a job there.
Yeah, it's a shame with all our great advance. Jesus Christ, sorry, there's gunshots outside again. Are we all right? Yeah. Okay, we're fine.
You need to poke your head out the window and be like, hey, is Larry Lincoln going to have to air out the blicky? Fuck off out of here.
Well, I'll tell you what. The Second Amendment was always installed for a reason. I got to defend myself. Bro. Make sure I do. But yeah, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, sorry you're down on hard times, but I never would condone criminal behavior and hope you get back up on your feet here soon, all right?
Me too, buddy. I'm a big fan. I'll be listening.
Fantastic. Take care and God bless. Excellent caller. You know, like I said, no need to turn to criminal behavior, but I understand some of us fall on tough times. Get back on your feet, pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and remember, the American dream is always alive. Even though we are trapped in a liberal nightmare, we can still find a way to achieve that dream that the Founding Fathers intended. Amen to that. I will say amen to that. Hold on a second. We're getting a text. Don't let them get to you, brother. They ain't changing our way of life. Don't know exactly what that was referencing, if someone wants to clarify that. But anyways, before we go into our final segment, I just want to do one of my favorite parts of living in this great city is looking at Life Invader. Let me see if I find anything interesting I can talk to you guys about. David Sanders posted about the Larry Lincoln Show. Who's this? Just love this country, hashtag America. Fantastic. Thank you so much for tuning in there. All right, let's keep looking down here. Good Lord, a bunch of pictures of people on drugs. Oh, hold on a second. Larry Lincoln listeners, listen in here. We have a post from someone named Raven. Wishing for the death penalty, let alone hanging someone, is absolutely vile. Richard Robbins advocating for such barbaric cruelty shows a complete lack of empathy and humanity. Justice is not about vengeance, and this kind of rhetoric has no place in a compassionate society. Larry Lincoln listeners, I must disagree. And I'm sure a lot of you disagree as well. Now,
Larry Lincoln!
Oh, hold on a second. I think we have someone coming in the studio. Hello, is someone out there?
Larry Lincoln, where are you?
Hold on a second, listeners. Give me one moment. We'll be right back with you. Hey, is someone out there?
Yes, Larry Lincoln, hello! We're just out front. We thought you'd kiss. We're fans of the show.
Oh, okay. You mind if I finish the show and we can talk after?
Absolutely. Well, it's a diamond ring. I'm going to leave it right outside your recording studio, all right?
Okay, thanks so much. I'll come out there after.
I love you.
Hey, thanks so much.
Sign my freaking chest.
Oh, would love to. All right, listeners. Getting back to it. The death penalty. Well, here's the thing. If someone's going to go out there and murder locals, drive cars through the hotel, murdering people, and they just consistently get slaps on the wrist, go to prison, and then come back out like nothing happened, where is the line drawn? I mean, at least let's start with life in prison if it's going to be such a jump to get to the death penalty. But I just couldn't disagree more. How many chances do you need to give someone before you realize that there is no hope? You can put them in, maybe down the line, there'll be a chance after those 25 years where they'll think about things and maybe get a chance for parole. But I just don't understand the way the justice system works currently. Listeners, we're going to go to a quick ad break, and when we're back, we'll wrap up the show. We'll see you here very soon. Larry Lincoln listeners, listen up because I have something to tell you. Have you ever had your car destroyed in an intersection by a crazy, drug-induced liberal? Have you ever been on the side of the road wondering, what am I going to do? I don't know how to get help. Well, look no further, Larry Lincoln listeners. Harmony Repair is there for you. They're the official sponsor of the Larry Lincoln Show, and they'll be there for all your needs, and they'll be there way better, way more reliable than anything this liberal government will do for you. And why don't you tell them Larry sent you? Have you had a long day dealing with a bunch of liberals? Are you just trying to put your mind at ease with some actual sensical thinking? Get yourself over to the Yellow Jack. Good people, good food, good drinks, and never a dull moment. Yellow Jack Inn, where if it ain't yellow, it ain't worth jack. Have you ever dreamed of sailing on a boat, perusing the nice waters of this great earth made by God? Well, let me tell you something. The State Department of Boats has plenty of boats that you can buy. Your heart's desire, whatever it may be, whatever your dream is, just like the American dream, this place can make your dreams a reality. But let me tell you something. It's something that the liberals don't want you to have. They want you to fill out all these forms, go through all these checklists, just so you can get a boat. But let me tell you something. If you're able to do it, go through the liberal policies until they can be gone, you'll have yourself the finest piece of watercraft that I've ever seen. So get yourself down there to the State Boat Department, find out how to do it, and tell them Larry sent you. Larry Lincoln listeners, do I have something good to tell you? Godai Industries. Have you heard of them? Well, if you haven't, you should. Not only are they an official sponsor of the Larry Lincoln Show, they're a business offering a service unlike any other in this city. Godai Industries will take your hard work, whatever it may be. They'll buy it from you at competitive prices, and you'll be able to circumvent all those taxes that those liberals are trying to put on the effort that you do to make a living. Godai Industries. Be in your element.
When you're stuck, don't stress at all. Play county toe and ready for your call. Santa Trader's best here to save the day. We lift you up, towing all the way. Lake County Towing, we'll pull you through for all your towing needs. We're here for you.
Do you like comfort food? Do you like a coastal feel? Do you like both of those things together? Well, let me tell you, Tide and Table, located at the Del Perro Pier, is the place to be for comfort food and a coastal feel. They have a great selection, a great menu, good people working there, and I can tell you personally, the meatloaf is one of my favorites. Go to Tide and Table, where comfort meets coast. Larry Lincoln listeners, hope you're enjoying the show, and man, do I have something to tell you. Have you ever been really hungry and really thirsty, and you just got into the city wanting to pet some kitties? Well, do I have a place for you. Ooh Woo Cafe. They got good deals, good company, good food, and above all else, no liberals in sight. No liberals in sight, Larry Lincoln listeners. Get yourself on down to Ooh Woo Cafe, get yourself something to eat and drink, and tell them Larry sent you. Larry Lincoln listeners, you're in the city, you need a repair, liberals are harming your prized, most valuable car. Where are you gonna go? Well, you're gonna go to Los Santos Customs. Los Santos Customs, located right there in the city of Los Santos, will get you fixed up right. They got a good workforce of good old patriots just trying to hold down the last frontier of being a patriot in the big city. And when you get there, tell them Larry sent you. Larry Lincoln listeners, do I have something to share with you? Are you looking for a new car? Are you looking for good people, a good deal? And are you tired of trying to deal with all these liberals who want to sell you cars at overpriced markups with all these taxes and all this stuff where your money goes nowhere except for the no good, homeless, criminal, drug addicts who are ruining our town? Look no further than Apex Auto Sales, an official sponsor of the Larry Lincoln Show, and when you go, make sure to tell them Larry sent you.
Get ready, here comes the plan. Larry Lincoln's rocking this land. Truth seekers in full demand. San Andreas, take a stand. Turn it up, loud and clear. Larry's voice, over here. Rocking hard, spreading cheer. Truth's the sound, we hope here.
Larry Lincoln listeners, welcome back into the Larry Lincoln Show. We're just wrapping things up here in the studio. Thank you so much for tuning in today, calling in, engaging with the show. It's always very much appreciated. And before we sign off, I do want to say, if you're listening in and you're running for governor, please reach out, 555-9451. Would love to hear from you, hear your policies, and have you on the show. And, or, if you're a business entrepreneur trying to do something here in the city, don't hesitate to call in or text that same number, 555-9451, to try to become or ask about business opportunities such as advertisement slots or sponsorships for the show. Larry Lincoln listeners, God bless you all. We're always here for you here at the Larry Lincoln Show. I'm always here for you at the Larry Lincoln Show. Every week, putting out the truth and nothing but the truth, while the corrupt, left-wing, liberal-run media tries to keep you in the dark. But have no fear, because Larry Lincoln is here. Have a great week. We'll see you next Friday. God bless. Watch out for the liberals. Watch out for the corrupt police. And please do your best to be safe, be great, and remember, as long as the show is here, I'll always be working to end the liberal nightmare and restore the American dream. Take care now, Larry Lincoln listeners. Until next week, oh, Jesus Christ, getting all tongue-tied. We'll see you later.